المختصين والباحثين والسياسيين الإماراتيين والألمان، تعزيز شراكتهما الاستراتيجية والتفاهم، تعزيز الحوار الثنائي بين البلدين على كافة المستوى. اقتصادية جديدة ستكون ألمانيا شريكة فيها. في ختام هذه الحلقة النقاشية
At the end of this symposium, which tackled the UAE-German relations and its future aspirations and the means by which we need to develop it, where an elite of experts and researchers and Emirati researchers and German researchers have participated, where the most important issues and perspectives have been spoken about through the interventions and discussions in the 5 sessions. The first session shed light on the international and regional circumstances that make both countries to promote their strategic partnership and joint common work in regional policies. Out of the discussions and the interventions by both parties, the role of war in Ukraine in rediscovering Europe and Germany for the strategic interests with the Gulf area, and those interests that the participants ascertain that it shouldn't be linked only to economic trade relations and energy security alone, but it needs to include cooperation in the fields of politics and security to promote security and stability in the region through the harmonized policies and common initiatives in the field of development. In the session, calls were reiterated to promote bilateral dialogue between both countries on all levels, and the importance that every party should need to know the perspective of the other side about its vital interests, and the German side should look at the UAE and the region not only through the European lens, but to respect the cultural differences and the political differences and the interests. In the second session, entitled the economic and investment opportunities for cooperation between both countries, a number of economic opportunities and investment opportunities for cooperation between both countries have been discussed. And it was certain that Germany is reiterating or renewing its economy and is putting new bases for the energy sector, which will become a priority, and that Germany has the knowledge and the long expertise that can be infused in science and technology and artificial intelligence, and that the Emirati society is developing quickly and looks forward to a new economic quantum leap where Germany will be a partner in it. Both parties has ascertained the importance of cooperation in food security and in the field of space and aerospace industries, and therefore both countries can put their partnership in a new track and more clear in the next phase. And regarding the economy and politics should walk hand in hand. Speakers have said that there is a huge investment of China in Africa, and then the UAE has given a paradigm of economic cooperation, multilateral economic cooperation, and perhaps both countries, Germany and UAE, can work together on this kind of cooperation where Germany will invest alongside UAE in Africa. As for the third session, which spoke about cooperation in the field of energy and climate, it has been insinuated that the European countries before the Ukraine war looked forward with interest to the Gulf countries to carry out partnerships in the field of facing climate change. But after the war, now Europe is focusing further on the Gulf region when it comes to energy security more than climate protection. And this is a lesson for us all, because the sustainable relationship between us should be based on the common interests and the diversification of partnerships, and taking the perspective of the other side, taking it definitely into consideration. And it was certain that there is a clear-cut realization in Germany that the UAE is giving great, promising futuristic opportunities in the field of clean energy and hydrogen in particular. Therefore, Germany has entered into a partnership with UAE in the field of energy since 2017. It is worth mentioning that the German Foreign Ministry has a special bureau for energy in its embassy in the UAE, and a speaker said that partnership in the field of energy between UAE and Germany and Europe as well in general has interests for UAE, definitely, because this partnership makes of the UAE an exporter of clean energy, and more importantly, that it is promoting a strategy of diversification of the strategies, because the UAE is exporting currently more than 90% of its oil to Asia, and promoting a partnership with Europe in the field of clean energy to achieve the objectives of strategic diversification of the UAE. And the participants have ascertained that cooperation in the field of hydrogen still needs further research, development, and solutions to overcome the practical and technical hindrances. And a number of speakers mentioned as well that the current contradiction in Europe between energy security and protection of the climate, and the gaps in the Middle East and North Africa between the countries capable of facing climate change, similar to the UAE and other countries that do not have resources in this regard. And therefore, it is of vital importance to promote comprehensive security and regional stability for the interests of developing economic partnerships and to turn towards the green economy and clean energy. The fifth and last session discussed the means in which we can coordinate and promote the diplomatic religion, and so on and so forth, the importance of coordination between cultures, societies, and the importance of coordination between countries in fighting extremists and terrorists. Whereas Germany and the UAE has worked together in fighting extremism and terrorism after the September 11. There was a need to be in dialogue about the threat of dangerous groups such as Muslim Brotherhood and ISIS and other groups such as Hezbollah and Houthis, in addition to the necessity of the countries giving importance, European countries giving importance to the terrorist threat emanating from Shiite groups. As mentioned previously, Hezbollah, Houthis, and Asa'ib al-Haq, and so on and so forth. At last, the participants recommended the importance of turning this symposium into a yearly meeting between the Germans and the Emiratis to get to know further to the common interests of both countries in a better way, and to discover new opportunities to promote the strategic partnership between them. This is a brief idea about the issues and the subjects discussed in today's sessions. And no doubt that there are ideas definitely that weren't mentioned or discussed at the moment. And in this regard, I would like to express my thanks and gratitude to the speakers who have participated with us and their ideas now and their perspectives that they have participated. And I would like to thank the German and Emirati presence who have enriched the subject of this symposium with their interventions and opened new horizons as a result to discover with their own discussions. And in conclusion, I hope that what has been discussed in this symposium would, when it comes to the ideas and perspectives, I hope that it will promote the UAE-German relations and to get to know the future trends of both countries. Thank you very much indeed for your presence here amongst us once again, and we hope that we can meet once again at another event that will gather or bring together both parties, the Germans and the Emiratis. Thank you very much indeed.